With the unending volatility in the oil sector, the discourse around economic diversification in Nigeria has sought to elevate the importance of growth in the non-oil sector. Beyond the push for revenue, economy experts have for long harped on revenue-boosting capabilities of non-oil sector exertions, which would ensure the nation's economic survival, while tapping the energies and skills of the country's very youthful population for national prosperity. Unlike the sordid experience in the oil sector, where the vast majority of citizens have been largely alienated from the production and benefit-sharing processes, the attraction in the non-oil sector is that it fosters active participation of the everyday citizen in the resource generation process. Within the context of benefit sharing and overall accountability framework for resource distribution, participation is self-sustaining in the non-oil sector because outcomes motivate the enlightened interest of beneficiaries to advocate better governance and evolution in the respective areas of non-oil sector endeavors. On the whole, therefore, the diversification debate goes beyond the rhetoric of being less dependent on ever-volatile oil. It speaks to the need for critical thinking and the presence of mind to look inward and tap the many tangible and intangible resource treasures Nigeria is endowed with. In essence, the diversification discourse, even in the non-oil sector, should look underexplored areas, which constitute low-hanging fruits which would bring quick wins and the immediate and further impact in the lives of citizens in the medium to long term. One such area is the culture and creativity sector, which has been long recognized for its potential as a low-hanging fruit in the economic diversification matrix. While the benefits have been touted, what is left is to think through strategies and explore synergies across the industry and government to put culture and creativity on a sound footing, such that it begins to make much more substantial contributions to the resource generation matrix of the Nigerian economy. As things stand, for instance, an industry like Nollywood, in spite of the limitations of the Nigerian environment, has defied the odds to rise to global reckoning. For an industry that has thrived majorly on the resilience and the can-do spirit of citizens, there is no doubt that much more could be achieved, especially in this era of technological innovation, if creativity and culture entrepreneurs get the kind of backing and investment which would empower them to play as real brands, targeting niche areas in the sector. It is in this context that creativity and culture entrepreneurs have commended and latched on to the policy statements on culture and creativity so far made by the Buhari administration. Specifically, a lot of positive vibes have been coming from the office of the Vice President, in terms of providing vision, direction and traction for culture and creativity. For instance, the Buhari administration declared through the Office of the Vice President that the creative industry is a significant player in the economy, representing 1.42% of gross domestic product, GDP, and has huge export earnings and in its own right, employs millions of citizens. Significantly, the Buhari administration has further portrayed the sector as one which possesses the qualities needed for the prosperity and stability of Nigeria. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo specifically extolled the sector for being diverse, universal, non-religious and non-tribal. This portrait of the sector makes it clear that it is not just the economic value that it can add that makes it critical. At a time of many upheavals across the country, from Boko Haram, herdsman killings to IPOB agitations in the southeast, the industry should be called upon and empowered to douse the tension in the land. These visionary policy statements from the government have inspired the formation of creativity and culture initiatives. The latest of such ventures is the Heritage Africa Village Square, Havis, an initiative conceived as a one-stop Pan-African center for the conception, production and expression of the cultural resources of all the peoples of African descent. It was founded on a vision to assert the creative sector as a massive opportunity for Africa to harness the huge potentials inherent in the creativity of its peoples. Havis' seriousness to tap their potentials in the culture and creativity sector is underscored by its investment in a 1,000-seat the amphitheater and the White House, comprising a gallery, a language institute, a library, a multimedia studio, a terrace, rooftop space. Havis, which sits on the famous Jobi Lake, also houses a 9-hole golf course, a proposed boat club, a hotel and a hotel among other facilities. Future development plans also include the African University of Creativity, dedicated to helping young Nigerians and Africans hone their natural talents, acquire skills and build their professional capacities and personality profiles. To underscore its commitment to promoting national values, while fostering international dialogue and exchange between Africa and the world, Havis will host a major culture fest on October 1st to mark the independence anniversaries of Nigeria and China. Headlining the program is a lecture titled, "Global Diffusion of Chinese Culture, Case Study of the Confucius Institute in Africa, Nigeria," to be delivered by Professor Duro Una, former Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, and founding director of the Confucius Institute at the university. To be chaired by Professor David Kerr, a culture scholar and former Vice-Chancellor of Benin State University, the lecture will lead to a panel discussion featuring 4 eminent scholars and experts on the blossoming Africa-China relationship. They will explore possible influence of the legendary Chinese philosopher, Confucius' philosophical thoughts on the socio-cultural development of Africa. The high point of the October 1st feast is a special exhibition featuring collections from Nike Art Gallery, which is curated by the international artist and iconic African culture advocate, Madame Nike Akunde. Featuring over 100 pieces of paintings and sculptures, the works will remain on display in the White House Gallery for the rest of the year. There will also be art and craft workshop for about 100 students and youths drawn from around the Federal Capital Territory. The sessions will be directed by Madame Akunde herself, reputed to have trained over 1,000 women and youths in attire fabric making, African body adornments and related accessories.